This isn't just another podcast. It's a movement, a global wave of women from Nairobi to Nashville, Seoul to Sao Paulo, stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight. Women who are ready to be seen, to be heard, to be unmuted. I'm Anjali Marshall, an award-winning ABC and NBC journalist and speaker, turned business strategist, coach, and mom. My mission? To amplify the voices of women who were never meant to stay silent. One woman, one voice, one story at a time. So go ahead, put on your comfy pants, grab a coffee, and maybe the remote. Are you ready to press the button? Unmuted starts right now. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unmuted. I am your host, Anjali Marshall, and I am so excited for today's episode. This, by the way, is a podcast where we amplify the stories of women who are rewriting the rules of success and women who refuse to stay silent, women who lead with wisdom, culture, and global experience. So today's guest, she's no different. Her name is Kathryn Thompson. She is an accomplished account executive, a founder, a business builder who knows exactly what it means to fall down and then get back up again. Whether she's launching new programs, guiding teams, or growing through grief, Kathryn has become an example of sustainable success and leadership with heart, all while balancing the adventure of motherhood and marriage. Kathryn, I am so excited that you're here. Let me bring you up. I'm so excited to chat with you today. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. I knew that I had to have you on the show because I know the reason that women watch this podcast is because obviously we're called Unmuted because so many women feel like they've either been unmute or they've been muted rather, or they've somehow muted themselves or for whatever reason have muted themselves. So I want to talk with you about your story. I want women at home to hear about, who you are, where you came from. You have a powerful story, and I know we can't tell it in like such a short time, but give us like the high level overview of the things you've experienced and what it is that's led you to this moment.
I like it. Well, I would say, I'm a born Okie in Oklahoma. I feel like I can now say OKC because of the Thunder. So that's kind of fun. People know what we are. We're on the map. We're on the map now. But I was born and raised there and married my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 15 years, which really blows my mind. And then we moved to LA, and that's really where my journey began of true like uncovering of who I am. As a woman of God in a deeper way. It's a big part of my story. And really had the privilege even there with being in the nonprofit space a lot and leadership, being a pastor. And then we got called home. And so we're home we're back in Oklahoma with our family here, which has been sweet because I have 2 kiddos and they enjoy seeing Gigi and Paul and all their families. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love that you guys came to Los Angeles because that's where we met. And
you were my first friend.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It was like friendship, love at first sight. It was amazing.
Yes.
And I remember that journey that we both were on of building. We were constantly building because we just felt this urge to build and create.
Yeah.
Can you tell, because I know there's a lot of women out there who are in that season of life. They really feel like I want to create, and some know what they want to create. Others maybe not so much, but there's this yearning. What do you remember? I'm sure you do, but what do you remember about that time specifically when we met, when you were starting to build something completely new?
Yeah, I mean, I still have that feeling to this day. I mean, I'm a builder, man, and I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Like, and I really am passionate about like whatever is placed in your hands, and whatever, like I am a person of faith. And so like with God putting things in my hands, that I want to be a good steward of that. And so I've always tried to cultivate an environment where I can grow where I'm at within that burning desire of wanting to build something. And so even when we met, I mean, I had just lost my job and stepped away from a pretty financially, a financial job in the sales world with a pretty big corporation, and was really in this space of, is this the time for me to build my own thing? And I feel like a lot of women have that tension, like, when is the right time? When is this my own thing? But for me, I have always been someone that has enjoyed developing, and I'm a very big proponent of, hey, it's not going to look like how we maybe anticipate it, but we can build where we're at. So you and I were in that season, like we were building where we were at, not realizing that some of the things that we were building weren't going to like sustain for a long time. But I think that more than anything, it taught us the resiliency of like, hey, when you fall, you get back up. And that's been my story over and over and over again, which is very hard. But I did not envision that I would be unemployed in one of the most expensive cities. And then I found out the month after that I was pregnant. And so, it was a lot. And so for me, building and us getting together and dreaming and entrepreneurial, ventures, some of them I'm like in this season where I'm about to see that fruition and unfold for me. But I believe that it wouldn't have been so inside of me if I hadn't stepped out and dreaming and putting my dreams into action at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a beautiful time.
It's
You mentioned a word earlier, tension. There was such a tension between the beauty of where we were.
Yes.
And the struggle of where we were,
yes.
Right? How on earth do you navigate that tension if it constantly shows its face? Like if it's constantly there, how do you personally navigate that?
I have been leaning into the word tension for a couple of years, and I don't feel like it's a bad thing when I used to think it was. And so for me, I feel like the tension reminds me of what my priorities are. So I don't believe that we can have a perfect work-life entrepreneur balance. Like I don't believe in that. I believe life is a dance. So within the tension, I feel like the tension helps me to stay true to where my priorities are. So the tension of being a mom or a wife, and I say tension, like I don't ever stop thinking about my babies, but I might be doing this over here, or I need to go back over here. So, or the tension of, I want this to be a really big thing that I'm building right now. I'm working on a business or a nonprofit, and I want this to be so big, but I also am raising a family, and I'm also, growing myself. And so for me, first off, with the tension, I really try to change my focus that the tension isn't a negative thing. The tension is there to be like a boundary to help me not fall off the cliff and to run and get burnt out, which I am very passionate about, is like running with sustainability. And so the tension helps me to stay in that like lane of sustainability.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk about the sustainability portion. So I know that you've built programs. I mean, the things that you've done, woman, it's unreal. You've built programs, you've built teams, you even built a nonprofit from scratch. Can you share a time when you had to get back up, when you had the tension of, hey, this isn't really working, but it's my desire. And then realizing I still need to make sure that I'm doing this in a healthy way so that it's sustainable. How did you deal with any setbacks or things that didn't necessarily go as planned?
I mean, I have a lot. So I'm like, which one do I start with? I would say the first one that comes to mind is more on a personal level. But for me, it's like when I did find out I was pregnant with my daughter. My husband and I have been married for 7 years, but within the timing of it, I really had felt like everything crashed around me. I had lost my job. I was trying to sustain building a nonprofit from a different state. I had individuals that were helping me run the nonprofit in Oklahoma, but then they stepped down. And so I felt like, how can I maintain growing the nonprofit? Now I'm pregnant, and I felt very discouraged by that I won't be able to accomplish the things that are on my heart to accomplish, like with now having the income not being there, now having the people and the resources not being there. And then literally like my time and energy, like I was sick a lot in the pregnancy, like even like I just felt that all around. And so I really learned in that moment that I had the constant phrase of it evolves as it goes is what came to me. This will evolve as it goes. This will evolve as it goes. Can I be trusted with what's been given to me? Right now, what's been given to me is the gift of motherhood, even if I don't see it right now as the gift. What now has been given me is the opportunity to link arms with Anjali and us dream about, future journeys that we want to be on, that now even you are pursuing, that we dreamed about years ago. And so for me, I think it's very important to hold space for all the emotions to come out. But then I reminded myself that if I'm constantly in the fog of that ongoing, where I'm not able to dream, then it's gotten to a place where it's overcoming like who I am and it's paralyzing me. And so I was able to, if you will, like when you said, like get back up from that. I mean, I had to have people around me to help me get back up. And I had to have my hands continuously in something that I'm building, that I'm love and desire, even if it's not going to go maybe somewhere right then. Like it's like I needed to get my creativity out to still build something like right then, to show myself. It was like proving to myself that I can still do it.
That's good. I don't think I've touched on that in any of the episodes that we've done so far. It's been everyone has a different story, but what you just said was this outlet, the need to have the outlet of creativity. We don't talk a lot about that, I think, and the importance of having a healthy outlet that allows you to say, okay, this may not be, what did you say? It may not go.
It might not build where I want it to build right now, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But you can still invest in that. You can put all of these energies that you need to just kind of get out. It's one of those things where when we put the kids down for bed, sometimes they're just still climbing the walls.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are things that we need to do to give them an outlet to get the wiggles out.
Yep.
Right. Is that kind of how you see that?
Absolutely. I had to make a decision to not be frustrated with the gap that I see in front of me of where I want to be and where I'm at right now. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that we can go back to tension, the gap. Like we can feel a tension, a frustration with the gap. This is where I'm at right now, and this is where I want to be. Like this is, and we can relate that in so many different facets. And if I don't have the opportunity, if I just focus on that gap, I am going to be so frustrated. And I have learned that a lot, even just different coaching. I have a life coach, business coach, Mandy Briggs. Like she talks a lot about that gap as well. But for me, I had to remember that if I stare at this gap all day, I'm going to get frustrated. But baby steps are still movement. And so that is a line from Zombies 4, actually. Yes, I'm a mom, so that's a wrap. Baby steps are still movement. But it's so true. It's so true. And I've been that it evolves as you go is something that's, right. So for me, it's the glimmer of hope that I have this outlet so that I'm not only focused on the gap. If I wait until that gap is removed, then how am I going to get there if I don't apply it? Like there's going to be something else that extends that gap or narrows the gap. But it's very important for me to have an outlet every week where I'm pouring my passion into building something, because it helps to remember and instill hope in me that I can still do it, for one. I'm proving it to myself. Number two, that like, if I'm nervous about it, that I practice, like it's repetition. I'm getting those reps in, so it helps me. And number three, it really does release like a dopamine hit as well, where like, you're like, wow, this feels good.
Well, that creative outlet doesn't have to be this sort of ethereal, like, oh, I'm just going to be creative in general. You're saying it can be like a weekly intentional, like a tangible thing. how do you suggest that someone kind of put that into practice to organize it in their head?
I have, if you will, a parking lot list on my phone. I have a notes on my phone, and my mind thinks about things all the time. And so I use that as a tangible tool for me to brain dump that there. And then I give myself space every week to look at that list, to spark different creativity of, and it might literally also be like things that I need to get done. But then it's also things that, like, I had an idea of something and I wanted to put it down and I wanted to spend time in it to like actually think about it. Because it's one thing to like write that down, it's another thing to like come back to it. So for me, I have been really focusing on doing that at least once a week where I can feel the creative drive. And I think that even Anjali, with your like the unmuted, I'm walking a season of reminding myself to unmute my voice. And so I have to practice that. Even if I have no followers, even if no one, like, even if it's just for me. And I think that we forget that. We get so focused on building this thing or having this creative time throughout our week to build something for financially or for other people. But what about our own selves? Like, what if it's literally just for yourself and you trust what that builds inside of you to give you confidence to say yes to the next thing that opens? And I will say I'm tangibly walking in that right now.
Wow, that's amazing. You have, because I know you so well, you've talked so freely about grief
Mm-hmm.
because grief shows its head all the time.
Yep.
Um, I've heard it said that grief is an invisible teacher.
Mm.
So, as the invisible, and honestly, sometimes it's not very invisible, it's just
Yeah.
like right there in your face,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How has your experience with loss shaped the way that you approach growth for both
Mm.
yourself and for those that you lead?
Oh man, it's hard. I love that. I haven't heard someone say the invisible teacher. That's very true because, grief can show up at times when you're not even like, you could be driving or you're in a conversation or you get triggered by something and you're like, oh, hello, grief.
Mhm.
But I think for myself, number one, I was in an immense amount of grief, immense. I'm slowly starting to share my story more, but I mean, I think that like we were in a season where I had grief all around me and something major happened every single month. May it be a family member that passed away, may it be the closure of the nonprofit. I mean, there were just some big things that happened. And so for me, number one, I believe that you have to have a space and an outlet, just like for creativity.
Yeah.
You have to have a space and an outlet to release the grief, to sit in it.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have been able to like move, like learn from it, And so for me, I created space with a counselor, with friends, where I could process the grief. And then I started actually seeing the invisible teacher come up in a way where I'm like, oh, this is like teaching me so much about myself. Like I'm starting to be self-reflective. How do I respond to certain things? Like, am I healthy in that area? Am I allowing this grief to bring out like a beautiful story right now? Like, can it be something that can be a part of who I am right now with like using my voice? So for me, it's twofold. I really feel like I needed to create a space, just like we talked about for creativity. Like I needed to create a space for grief. But then I would say that went hand in hand with, then I was in a place where I could work on my creativity, like in that next space too, because my mind would be more like focused on that creative project because I created space, to like release that grief.
Great. You are a creator. And so I've heard you use this phrase so many times. I created space. I created space. And you're so intentional about creating space because the space doesn't just show up, right? Like you really
No.
have to be intentional about it. So,
Yep.
what practices, like what tangible things would you say someone could do to create space for grief or for creativity?
Hmm.
Because with creativity, you talked about like a weekly thing. Like,
Hmm.
do you think that do you think that that's something that has been beneficial to you to making space consistently for grief?
Absolutely.
It never overwhelmed you.
No. I mean, well, the emotions did for sure, right? Like the emotions of grief that came up, but I would always feel, I would leave and my counselor would say this, like grief and different emotions, it's like this sponge and you have water and if you don't wring it out, like it gets bigger.
Got it.
So for me, I noticed that if I wasn't releasing that emotion, then it would be really hard to focus on those things fully, like creating something or building something.
Yeah.
And so I had to just be very disciplined by having weekly, I created time and space because I knew that if I show up as my best self, I'm showing up for myself. I'm unmuting my own voice by creating a space to meet with a counselor or a friend to talk through and process emotions. And I think that that's very important. But I would say a tangible is, and Angela, you and I like talked about this a lot when I lived in LA, and you really are the person that introduced this originally to me. And now I practice it every week, but it's creating a space of rest, like on a weekly basis. Some people may call that Sabbath. Some people may call that rest. I think that's so undervalued. And so for me, those are like non-negotiables. That's a non-negotiable that once a week, I don't have plans on my calendar. That allows me the space and the freedom to create throughout the week. So that's like a tangible number one is I would challenge you as a creative, as hard as it is. And maybe you can't start with the whole day. Maybe start with an afternoon where you don't have plans and you're just having fun. You're just watching a movie, reading that book, going on a walk. But I feel like we undervalue that tool in itself that leads to the productivity of being creative.
That's great.
I don't think you can have one without the other if you're looking for sustainability. You can do it.
Yeah.
I think eventually you'll burn out and you will not be able to sustain being creative.
That's great. You've had a dynamic career.
I have.
I know about your career. And I know that it has not been an easy journey, which I don't know anyone who would ever say that their journey, like their life journey, their career journey, their motherhood journey, their friendship journey.
Adulting is hard. So yeah, just in general.
Yeah. It's life, you know? What have you discovered about holding both ambition for your career and love for your family without burning out?
I would say that the only reason why I'm as passionate as I am right now is because I have burned out in the past and I have seen how it doesn't work when I go 90 to nothing. And I am like a recovering, like I was like addicted to being busy. And when I say like, I'm like legitimately where I would have a panic attack if I didn't have something like it might sound silly, but I'm just being vulnerable. Like I would like get so anxious and worked up if I didn't have something on the calendar every single day. So I literally was addicted to like that rush of like going. And I think that more people are probably in that same space than they probably would care to admit because of the space. Like the world makes us feel like we have to do everything. And if we don't, like, I would feel bad. I would feel guilty. Oh my gosh, I haven't deserved to rest. Like I need to, build this. And so for me, I have learned through experience, right? The experience of not holding that space well. And for me, what I realized was when I'm trying to create from the space of being tired or not having a week where I had a space just for myself, or I didn't have a week to like release the grief like we discussed, or have a space of creativity, when I just go into those moments, I realize that I leave them feeling overwhelmed and I leave them feeling frustrated, or it's just not an overflow and it makes me more frustrated. And then I'll like second doubt myself. And the reality is we're human beings. We have emotions, we have hormones, we have all the things. And I didn't allow myself time to reset. So that's what would happen. So then I would, well, I am a creator. This is what I need time for this, so I need, hold on, family, let's create. And then, okay, I'm ready. But then one thing happens and I'm like snappy and I'm not, enjoying life. So what's the purpose of creating something if we can't enjoy it? Right. So, I believe that is a gift of life and being creative, like for us to enjoy it. And I wasn't. So that's for me, like literally walking through it. Now I'm like, I have my guardrails in place now. I can tell internally, go back to tension. I have the tension to go hard 24/7.
Sure.
But I believe I can manage that tension.
What would you say to someone who doesn't feel that they can manage it?
That you're not alone and that we all have that tension. But I think that what I would recommend if someone is like, I can't manage that, is to challenge yourself. You never know unless you try, but I would challenge you to take inventory when you're in those creative moments and when you go throughout the day. Like, how do you internally feel? Are you tense if someone cuts you off? Are you more irritable when you get news about something not going well? Like, take internal inventory of your responses. Are you being reactive as a leader when you're leading teams? There might be some byproduct of we're on a road or we're dancing with burnout because we haven't leaned into having those boundaries in place.
That's so great. Oh, that's so good. The best teacher is experience, right?
Absolutely.
The reason that you can speak so confidently and factually about it and actually give homework to people and tell them
Yeah.
this is what I would recommend you do is because you've experienced it.
Mhm.
You are training, you're doing something really cool right now. I'm so proud of you for doing this. You're training to become a certified Dale Carnegie instructor.
I am.
Can you just talk a little bit about that and why, like, this is a big deal? I'm
Mhm.
very excited for them because they get you, because I know how passionate, and if anybody is watching, like, just 5 minutes of you speaking, it's obvious how passionate you are about what it is that you do, and helping people to overcome. And so talk about the Dale Carnegie instructor program and what you really want to get and what you want to contribute to that.
Yeah. Well, first off, I know that a lot of people know who Dale Carnegie is. Some people might not, though. But if you've heard the book, like How to Win Friends and Influence People, there's so many other content and books. That's where they derived from. But I am excited because I genuinely believe that it's like my DNA. Like, I feel like it's just a DNA, and so I am excited because I have waited and I've walked this path of like baby steps of that we talked about, like, and not discounting every season. And then I'm starting to see like, oh, that's what that was for. Like, and I act like,
Uh,
oh, and so yeah, I will be a certified trainer in December, and I will be able to train classes and courses and principles on stress and worry, like influence, presentation skills. And so I'm really excited about that. But I would love to share, can I share one thing about why I did that?
Yes, please.
And to challenge, like put out a challenge. I
I love
think I signed up for this course around a time when I was in an immense grief. I mean, very, very heavy grief. So talk about tangibles and practicals. Do the thing that you don't want to do. Like I was like, I'm not going to do this course, but I know I need to. I know I need to get back to reminding myself in the midst of this grief and this hurt and this disappointment and this letdown that I still have value and I still have a voice. So for anyone else, like, I'm doing this for me. And so I remember my first night when I was driving to the course, I don't know anybody there. And I personally like wanted to take this course, and I'm driving and I feel sick to my stomach. I mean, there's maybe 30 people there. I have spoken, I have spoken into like rooms of, hundreds and hundreds of people. And I love that environment. And I love L&D. And I love that. I was so nervous. And I know because the little voice that I was fighting and the tension that I was fighting is like, you can't do this anymore. How can you show up in the midst of, it makes me emotional just even thinking about it, but the midst of the nonprofit closing down, the midst of all this grief and this loss, like, how do you think that you can still add value in the midst of that? And so
Wow.
for me, I personally challenged myself to do something that was uncomfortable. So I signed up for this course and I said, I'm going to do this. So I remember going the first night, I almost didn't go. I was so nervous. And then I left and I was like, yep, that's why I'm supposed to do this. Because
Yeah.
instantly I was reminded of my passion and the fire inside of me for doing this type of work. But if I had to let that grief overshadow,
Mm.
my fear of like stepping out, then I wouldn't have had as much breakthrough. And now there's even more opportunities that are opening within a connection with them. And I'm so excited about that. And wasn't even thinking about what I could do in speaking with them and training. But I don't know. I've been really reflective of that this week.
That is huge. And you are where you're supposed to be.
Hmm. I
That's a
am.
that's
I
a
am.
good
And
it feels good, right?
it feels good. I would say that I'm trying to take more time to be proud of myself. Like, I think that we don't speed down enough to be like, no. And I'm
Just
like,
slow it down.
Kathryn, like, you almost didn't do that. Like, you were so nervous. And I believe that when we lean in and we show up, even messy, when we show up in the face of discouragement, in the face of letdown, in the face of grief, like, we remind ourselves, like, oh, I am still of value and I'm not going to stay muted and I'm going to step into this space and show up. And then we remind ourselves, oh, that's why I like what I'm doing. And I'm glad I didn't stop. Right.
I'm so grateful that you didn't stop, and I'm so proud of you, Kathryn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for just sharing such a small part of your journey. But it's so impactful to just open our mouths and let our voices be heard. So thank you for coming on the show today.
Yes.
And thank you for giving challenges. I love giving homework to clients, and you anybody watching, this is a teacher right there.
Well,
So
thank you.
do the things that she's asking, do the things that she's recommending, because there will be breakthrough on the other side. Um, okay, Kathryn, I
Yes.
told you when we talked that there was a little part of the show
Hmm.
to do something fun.
Okay.
Um, although speaking to you is always fun,
I mean,
but
that did cross my mind. Like, this is, I'm that weird one that public speaking is like a blast, but
totally a lot of fun. But we're
yeah.
gonna play a game. So
Okay.
it's called Hot Mic,
Okay.
and it's 15 rapid fire questions, completely
Love it.
random. However, I know you and they are strategic.
Okay. I like it. Let's go.
But here's the only rule, okay? You
Okay.
cannot think about the answer. There is no pondering. Like when I ask the question, just give what the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
Okay.
Number one, your favorite ritual for rest.
Going on walks. Love me time outside.
Love it. Okay. Your go-to song when you need a confidence boost.
Oh man, Dream Girls soundtrack, just all of the songs.
Beyonce or all of them. Okay. All right.
Just the whole, yeah, specifically the one where it's like when Beyonce and the other singer Jennifer Hudson, they're like that heartfelt moment and the
Yep.
blast. Yeah, all of it. Karaoke moment.
You're on fire after that.
Yes. Oh yeah.
What is the most meaningful lesson that you've learned from the kiddos?
From the kiddos, to not hold back, like to show up unapologetically with all of my like energy and joy and be unapologetic.
Yes. I love that. Coffee, tea, or something else?
I mean, something else. Yeah, I'm not a coffee drinker, really trying to dive into tea, but my something else was Dr. Pepper, but I'm getting older and it doesn't really agree with me as much. So I'm on this kick of just like Herbalife, like teas and powders and anything that just tastes very sweet.
You just want to taste something sweet.
Just something sweet. Boba, chai tea. Yeah,
Okay.
all the things. Yeah, yeah.
I can hang
A
with
chai
boba.
tea with 100,000 grams of sugar. Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. A leadership book do you recommend?
Oh man. I mean, anything by I love John Maxwell. I mean, I did do a plug for Dale Carnegie, so like how to win friends and influence people. And then I'm reading The Great Leap. It's really good. And it's about starting over and operating from your zone of genius. Like, highly recommend it.
Love that. Okay. The best advice a mentor ever gave you?
Uh, to like kindle your dream and like start with what you have. Like my mentor a long time ago told me that you have to pretend like your dream is like a little ember and you have to protect it from naysayers, and we're the ones that blow on it. And I've always kept that in mind.
That's beautiful. The dream destination for a restorative getaway.
Mm. I mean, anywhere. I mean, I don't have like one. I mean, I just like anywhere when I'm by water, honestly, like water, mountains, like by myself or just with Robert. Like, yeah, anything like that, I can make it work.
Work with it. Yes. The
Yeah.
time of day that you find most creative.
Okay. Um, I would say I get a lot of creativity and like pouring out of my brain into that sheet that I talked about on my phones between like 6 and 8 a.m.
The mornings, there's just something about the
I
mornings.
know, as much as I would not want to say that, like it's so true. Yeah, it's so true. And now I've been sitting on my front porch and I've been doing like different reading and things like right before the full sun comes up, and I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's a beautiful time of day.
Mhm.
The role that you have found to be most challenging and why?
And within work?
Whatever you got.
Within other okay. Well, then motherhood.
Whatever you
Um, huh?
I said, whatever you got.
Yeah, motherhood. I mean, yeah, I would say motherhood for me, because I didn't feel like it was like natural for me, and I had to work at it, and that was like such a lie. I don't think it's like truly natural for anyone. And so, but that would be for me. Like I had to overcome what I thought was a good mom, or like what I thought the picture of it was. And now I feel like I'm like really loving motherhood in a way that I never have, and I love it.
Right. A self-care practice that you wish you had started sooner.
Okay. I mean, I already said walks, but I really do. I mean, I like movement. I heard someone the other day like say that movement is medicine. And I wish that I had implemented that earlier where I'm in the routine of it already. I'm already in the routine of washing my face at night and taking my vitamins in the morning, but I'm not at the routine quite yet where I'm doing movement every day. So that's one that I'm working on, but that's one that I would say is that like I'm like I have to move today, you know?
That's good. That's good. You got to move your body. Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
What's your inner pep talk after a tough day?
Good question. I like it. Okay. After I silence all the naysayers in the brain, I really talk to myself like Kathryn, like I talk out loud and I'm like, hey, Kathryn, like tomorrow's a new day. You do your best? Did you show up with what you can? And like you've got this. Like, and we have a motto in our home, and we say you can do hard things. So I remind myself so that I'm not afraid of the hard, like that I welcome the hard. So really, I'm like, you can do hard things. You can do hard things.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. What is the most used app or tool that you have that helps you to keep your sanity?
Okay. I would say, I know, but it's not really a tool. I mean, I like my notes page in my phone. I
That's an
really,
app.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
great.
I just really, I mean, it really helps me so much to stay focused because when I have a random thought that pops in my head, I can put it down and then come back to it. So I love that.
That's great. What is your favorite way to celebrate small wins?
Getting a drink, like getting a tea or like a fun smoothie, like and going on a walk. I guess walking is part of my rhythm right now, but
Your rhythm.
I love that. Like, and there's something about listening to music and having a fun drink and like creating that like is very like celebratory for me.
So much. So great. A quote that you live by now.
I mean, it might sound silly because I already referenced it earlier, but I really have been listening a lot, like reminding myself of the zombies quote of baby steps are still movement. I know it sounds silly, but I'm reminding myself that, especially with small kids and the things that I want to accomplish, that like, hey, Kathryn, baby steps are still movement. If you were creative 5 minutes this week, good for you. Good for you, girl. Like baby steps are still movement. And then, start with what you've been like, start with where you're at, like start with where I'm at, and then things evolve as they go. Like those are my biggest things right now.
Yeah, that's great. What does success mean to you in one word?
Legacy,
Mm, that's great.
legacy for sure.
A hope that you have for your children's future.
Oh, I thought I would get through without crying, and then you got that one in. I mean, I want them to, my hope would be that they show up unapologetically as themselves in every space that they're at, and that they know who they are and that they are loved without a shadow of a doubt. I don't care what job they have. I don't care what type of money they make. If they know who they are and they know that they're loved and they have that strong foundation of that, that's a win.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
I made you cry.
You did. Oh.
It's not hard for either of us, honestly.
No, I was like, I mean, is that like people that know me that are watching, like, is that really that hard of a feat? No, it's not.
Last question. Actually, no. Before the last question, the silent victory that you celebrate most often. Silent victory.
Oh, that's so good. I celebrate that I don't sit in paranoia or being nervous as long as I used to. That's like internally when people wouldn't know I did that, but like if I was nervous about a conversation I had or something like that, like I used to like beating myself up internally. I don't set in that as long.
That's good. That's a win.
Very big.
Good deal. Last question.
Okay.
Something that used to refresh you, but just doesn't refresh you anymore.
Yeah, I would say this is so, I never thought that it wouldn't not refresh me, but like going out like late at night to like social events, like for some reason it just takes me more to like, and I'm like to like work myself up, and then I'm happy I go and I love that type of stuff. But I mean, if you call me for a 7 a.m. breakfast, I'm down, man. But like a late night gathering, I'm like, woo, takes more out of me.
It's just your body just starts to say, you know what? No.
Yeah, my couch, like in my home, just sound really nice with my babies and like a movie. I'm just like the simplicity of that. I'm like, this is great.
It's wonderful because it's peace.
Yes. And it's not noisy. I don't like going to noisy places late at night.
We're not old, Kathryn. We just know what we want.
Exactly.
I love you with my whole heart, my friend.
Oh, you too. Thank you.
So incredibly grateful for you. I'm grateful that you have come onto the show to share your story, but also to encourage other women to speak up and to not sit in something that doesn't serve them.
Yes.
I also love that you gave tangible ways to help women to schedule creativity, to schedule grief, or whatever it is that they need to be attuned to their bodies and their needs. Thank you for your wisdom. I love you so much.
Thank you for having me. You are so welcome.
Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and tell people how they can support you, how they can find you and just like you and follow you on the social.
That's great. I mean, my social on Instagram is my whole name, Kathryn.Ann.Thompson. So pretty easy to find. But one of my best friends in LA really challenged me to start a podcast and asked if I could do one with her. And so we started that like last year, and she's like, we should tell people about it. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's called Holy Shenanigans, but it's just an opportunity it's 20 minutes of us talking about faith, failure, and family, just for 20 minutes. And it's a fun opportunity to stay in touch with someone that I don't get to see like this, it fills my cup. So I would say those two, and then go check out some of the Dale Carnegie books for yourself.
Absolutely. Holy Shenanigans, all your socials, and then Dale Carnegie. Oh my gosh. And when we bring you on, you're going to be a licensed coach.
I am.
I'm so excited. And I hope
you
will come back. I love you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And if Kathryn's story inspired you at all today, how could it not? I mean, obviously, share this episode with somebody that's learning to get back up after a fall. Kathryn, the last thing is you are now officially part of the Unmuted family. Hello and welcome.
Yes.
Yes. All right. This is all that we have for today on this episode of Unmuted. But if this episode meant anything at all to you, again, share it and go back through this and look back through. There's so many tangible things that you can do to schedule creativity, to schedule things that you need in your life to make you to make peace and happiness a sustainable feature for your
Mm,
yeah. All right. Love you, Kathryn, and
thank
love you all. We'll see you again next time on
Bye.
What you just heard wasn't just a story. It was a spark, a glimpse into the heart of a woman living for purpose, and a reminder that when one woman shares, another woman wakes up to what's possible. These aren't just conversations, they're catalysts. I'm your host, Anjali Marshall, and this is the Unmuted Podcast, where voices rise, stories connect, and purpose finds its volume. Until next time, friends, stay unmuted.